Shalom, Ahab, Wa, Baraka. First and foremost, call Halei, Yamla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Wahab, Rakakwadash, and double honor to the elder apostles, the prophets, and the teachers over at GMS that have been bringing out this 100% truth for the last 30 plus years. And with that being said, let's get right back into it. This is the Abraham Finkelstein radio interview. Okay? It's the Abraham Finkelstein radio interview. And it's Whistle, the Whistle Has Been Blown is the name of the channel. The Whistle Has Been Blown. Now this video, like I've told you before, I saw it the first time, I think 11 or 12 years ago. And it resurfaced recently, so I wanted to, this is more of informational than actually teaching. But it does prove a lot of things about these people. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
On Pastor Bob's program tonight is Rabbi A.B. Finkelstein on the East Coast of the United States. We're going to be coming back to you after this break. Just hold your chair and hold your place. We'll be back in just one moment. I'd like to welcome you back to the second half of Pastor Bob's broadcast tonight on the Turner Radio Network on John 844. I'm James Wickstrom, a teacher of Yahweh, sitting in for Bob tonight. I wanted to thank him for covering for me.
James Wickstrom is the Christian pastor, and Abraham Finkelstein is so James Wickstrom, and then this is Abraham Finkelstein. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it.
Tonight on the Turner Radio Network on John 844. I'm James Wickstrom, a teacher of Yahweh, sitting in for Bob tonight. I wanted to thank him for covering for me last week a broadcast, The Lying Jews. Very interesting that I have one on here with no conscience, but he's coming up and at least telling the truth to what's going on in the country, is Rabbi A.B. Finkelstein from the East Coast of the United States. Rabbi Finkelstein, are you still there?
I am here, and remember, there's never been a Jew in the history of the world that ever told a lie. We always tell the truth.
Yes, I see. I know what your truth is. Your truth to you is a lie to us, but that's fine. I'd like to get into the situation that took place years ago. I know you're well aware of it. It was called the Bolshevik Revolution over in Christian Russia. It's been reported here on congressional documents in the United States, and it's in many places now, that actually it was Jews who financed the Bolsheviks' Jew Communist Revolution against the Tsar. Would you comment on that?
Well, it was really the Rothschild family that financed it because they got all the shekels. Boy, let me tell you, they got the shekels. When the old man died in 1812, he owned half of all the known wealth in the world. Oy vey.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he just said? That's why I'm telling you guys, this is an informational video. He literally just told you that that the Rothschilds are the ones with all the money. He literally just said that. And boy, do they have the shekels. So he said when the I forget what his name was now, but he said when he died that he owned half of the wealth of pretty much the whole world. Half of the world's wealth. Wow.
The rest of us got to chop up the rest of it. But anyway, we started the Bolshevik Revolution there because you might as well start with taking over the biggest country in the world, which was Russia. And we had the help to murder the Tsar from his cousins, the Kaiser, and the King and Queen of England. And so they helped us, and they gave us all the inside information that we needed to take the country over. And but we drained that country pretty well. There's not a lot left. And so we look for green.
Wow, did you hear what he just said, we drained that country pretty well. There's not enough left. There's not much left. And you know what? We got to get it. We got to get it. Obadiah chapter 1, KJV, authorized. It's been doing that to me lately. It's been doing that. Watch this. He said, we milked them pretty good. Come on, you piece of junk. Now it does every time when you want to bring out a scripture, all of a sudden, and when it's going to be good, I notice that all of my devices start working against me. It's like they know I'm about to tear this fool apart. So, I wanted to read this. This is Obadiah 1 and 5, because I showed you in the previous videos that they taxed our foods, they raised the taxes, they raised the price on everything. They literally made money off of 9/11. And they're the ones that did. I mean, the guy said the whole thing himself. It's not like I'm making up this stuff. He literally said it with his own mouth. But let's get it. Obadiah 1 and 5. Because now he's telling how he literally sucked the whole nation dry of all of their resources. So let's get it. This is Obadiah 1 and 5. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? In other words, these guys come and they'll steal everything. Man, they'll fucking dig the roots right out of the ground and take the dirt with them if they could. I mean, they're that greedy. So what he's telling you is like, he's telling you the truth, and we're reporting on it. So let's get back to this guy's spilling the beans, because I'm going to get something... You know what? Let's get it right now. Let's go to the book of let's go to the book of Nahum real quick. And we're going to get it in the NLT, all right? And we're going to start at verse 5. So this is Nahum chapter 3, starting at verse 5. I am your enemy, says Yahweh, Lord of heaven's armies. And now I will lift your skirts and show all the earth your nakedness and shame. I will cover you with filth and show the world how vile you really are. All who seek you will shrink back and say, Nineveh lies in ruins. Where are the mourners? Does anyone regret your destruction? No. Why would we? But the point is that I just wanted to. The point is that the Most High hates these people, and this guy has a spirit on him to tell all of their dirty little secrets. That's the lifting of the skirt, and it's showing us how nasty and evil these guys really are. So I had to get that scripture out in the NLT because, I mean, damn, that breaks itself down so well, doesn't it though? So I will cover you with filth and show the world how vile you really are. And all who see you will shrink back away. Oh, whoa. But anyway, let's get back into it. You're cutting your own throat. Actually, I think that Abraham Finkelstein is no longer, he might not be here anymore. I'm pretty sure that after this video came out, that guy, he kicked the bucket, I guess. Let's go. Let's get back into it.
In the pastures, and we've been doing real good here in America for a long time, but it's time to do something else, so we're going to build up China and India, and we'll just let America sink into the desert, because no one really cares about America anymore. It's, there's not a lot of shekels to be made anymore. As they say, you can't get blood out of a stone, and we've got as much blood out of this stone as we're going to get.
It's interesting because I'm glad you brought that up because this country is in great despair here. I'd like to know, was very crafty on your Kahila and the main sources of Jewish power, financial and political power, how they totally
Did anybody notice that he said, we're going to let America sink into the desert? We're done with America. This is literally, I saw this video over 12 years ago, or about 12 years ago. Now, another thing that he said, I'm going to build up China and India. So now we need to look into the future where we're at now. Has China been built up? Didn't we send all of our resources, all of our corporations moved to China? Well, now you know who actually owns these corporations. The guys that are making the shekels. The shekels. When they say shekels, you know who they are. Let's get back into it.
Control most of the federal agencies in the District of Columbia.
Well, it's really simple. You know, the Kehillah, that's the inside for us rabbis. We know how to get the word out to every Jew in the world that goes to a synagogue within 45 minutes. All the other presses, the news media, the television, the radio, the magazines, we own all those anyway, so that's...
Haven't we been telling you that Amalek owns everything? That the Jewish people own everything? Well, he's telling you that they own everything. So now you guys got to shut up about that. They're telling you they own everything.
Trickles down, but by the time most of the masses get it, it's too late to make any decision. We already made the decision for them.
You know, it's interesting with trouble looming on the horizon in the United States. You know, there's a lot of white people like me, of European ancestry, who don't really know what's going on. And there's a large percentage of Jews in this country who really don't know what's going on either. They're going to be cannon fodder too, aren't they?
There's a few at the bottom that don't go to the synagogue and they don't know, but they know that, you know, with parties we discuss it, you know, how we're going to wipe out the white race and wipe out the Arab race, actually let them wipe out each other and make a lot of money. That's pretty smart.
I'm going to take the white race, and now he's saying olive, and we're going to let them wipe each other out. He's not talking about olive. He'll never, ever directly say black person, okay? These guys don't regard us as anything. We're the first. They try the best they can to keep anything to do with us out of their mouth, and that's why he would say we're going to get rid of the white race. And so they don't care about their own people. They're willing to take out their own people to get to their main goal. You got to remember, Amalek is the top tribe of the Edomites, and then let's just get back into it. Let's get back into it because Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. If not, where and who is he? So if these guys don't own the earth, and he's telling you we own everything. What did he say, in 1820 or something like that? The Rothschilds owned half of the world's wealth. Come on, guys. When are you guys going to wake up? You know, nobody even, this video gets shadow banned. All of the videos I put out on this have been shadow banned. If you're lucky enough to watch this video and pay attention, you're actually going to get edified. Let's get back into it.
You know, us Jews were pretty smart guys. I knew eventually we'll get all the rest of the countries around the world, they'll wipe each other out, because us Jews, we're special. We're the chosen people. And we're the smartest people in the world, and we have always said down through the ages, we want a world of our own. And we're going to get it, and there's nothing any of the Goyim cattle we're going to do to stop it. L'chaim.
So you see, it's very interesting that you should bring all of this up because
they're trying to produce the kingdom of heaven through the work of their own hands. So they believe in their minds and in their hearts that they can just take out every other race or use them, like he said, as cattle or sheep or slaves. In other words, when you have cattle and sheep, they belong to you, so you mark them. And so you know whose cattle belongs to who. But he's literally saying that he wants to take everything out and that they'll have a world of their own. Doesn't that sound just like when the vision that John the Revelator had in the book of Revelation of us being saved? and us having our own world and all of the other people being our slaves. But in the Bible, it says that this wicked generation of Edomites will be cut off forever. So they're going to try the best they can to produce their cause, but they're not going to be able to accomplish it. Let's go.
Where do the blacks fit in? I know that you use them. They've been part of the Jewish Communist Party in the United States, a vast majority. What's going to be their end when this is all over?
Let's go back a little bit. Let's see what I didn't hear what he was talking about.
Each other and make a lot of money. That's pretty smart. You know, us Jews, we're pretty smart guys. I know that eventually we'll get all the rest of the countries around the world, they'll wipe each other out, because us Jews, we're special. We're the chosen people, and we're the smartest people in the world, and we have always said down through the ages, we want a world of our own, and we're going to get it, and there's nothing any of the goyim cattle we're going to do to stop it.
The world we get is hell.
So you see, it's very interesting that you should bring all of this up, because where do the blacks fit in? I know that you use them. They've been part of the Jewish Communist Party in the United States, a vast majority. What's going to be their end when this is all over?
All you Jakes.
Well, the Schwarzes, if the truth be known, came here with our father Lucifer 75,000 years ago when he lost that battle, only temporarily though, in the heavens, because we're on a comeback. We're the comeback kids if there ever was one. But all the Schwarzes, what can you say? You know, they got a good time step, they dance good, a couple of them can sing, they make some nice barbecue, and they're real good for selling drugs too, because they all love the drugs, and we make a lot of money off of selling the drugs. You do know that we control all the drug world and have since Rothschild got the opium wars in China.
Okay, you heard him. We control all the drugs. And all you Jakes, you're great to sell drugs too. That's what he just said. Because you do all the drugs. You guys do all the drugs. And what is it? We require mirth. Sing us the song of Zion. And you know why I'm saying that? Because it's Psalms 137 and 3. And I'm going to get it in... let's go with the King James Version to start with. For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song. And they that wasted us required of us mirth. That's entertainment. That's entertainment. Let's see what he said again. Let's see what he said again. They required of us mirth. Sing us one of the songs of Zion. And I'm going to go off the point really quick here, but the songs of Zion were songs of us defeating the other nations. So when they were making us sing these songs to be entertained, they were actually mocking us and laughing at us. But because they had conquered us, and yet we're singing songs of us conquering them. That's why they wanted to hear the songs of Zion. Now, back to this guy. Let's see what he said, because it said let me read it again. For they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us a song of Zion. Now let's hear what he said again.
75,000 years ago, when he lost that battle, only temporarily though, in the heavens, because we're on a comeback. We're the comeback kids if there ever was one. But all the Schwarzes, what can you say? You know, they got a good time step, they dance good, a couple of them can sing, they make some nice barbecue, and they're real good for selling drugs too.
You guys are there for their entertainment. He's literally telling you, you're only here for entertainment. So when you say they required mirth from us, they required entertainment. They want to be entertained by you. That's all you are to these guys, because they conquered us. They got us to break Yahweh's law, and now we're at the bottom, and our oppressor's standing right on our fucking neck with his foot. All right, let's go.
Because they all love the drugs, and we make a lot of money off of selling the drugs. You do know that we control all the drug world and have since Rothschild got the opium wars in China going. We've been controlling the drugs ever since that. We let a few in here and there to make some money, and they get arrested and they go off to jail for that. But we make the big money.
You hear that? And they own the prisons too. They give you the drugs. You sell the drugs for them. You make a little money, and then you go to jail for breaking the law. And these guys, they sit in their wherever they're at, in their nice office, their nice house, wherever they want to, in the synagogue, and they make the big bucks, is what he just told you. We make the big money off of these. And he said it. He said that we control the drugs. Not me. I didn't say he controlled the drugs. He said that. So he's saying that he gives those drugs to the shvatzas, is that how he said it? Which means nigga. So to the niggas. And they go out and get arrested and then go to his prison. Let's keep going.
We're the wholesalers. We're the wholesalers of everything in the world.
You know, it's very interesting. You should bring that up because, you know, prior to Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his Eleanor, his first cousin, who is also a Jewess, actually, yes, they were both Jews. And it's very interesting. Until they got in office, the Jews had control of the money, but they didn't have control or a good foothold in Washington, D.C., did they?
No, we had control since the Civil War. Rothschild, he backed both sides of the Civil War, and when the smoke cleared, he was getting shekels for both of them, lots of interest. They're never going to be able to pay back the war debt. We really control it then. Basically what we've been doing...
These guys, since the Civil War, has had America in debt prison, because he's telling you we fund both sides of the war. People are going to have to wake up to the truth. Those people over there that are calling themselves Israelis are the children of Lucifer, according to this guy. But they don't like to admit it.
It's consolidating. I'll tell you something about that Eleanor girl. She got a face that would stop a clock.
A train.
A train too.
Now, as we talk about conditions in this country, Rabbi Finkelstein, the people know that their standard of living it's not meticulously being destroyed now. It's coming by chunks. It's coming by large gouges at this time. Total industrial plants, automotive plants are being shut down. 1,500 to 3,000 in a plant are losing their livelihood. It's just a matter of time, isn't it?
Well, of course. But all they really ever had anyway, once you give up working for yourself and you work for somebody else, you're a slave to that person. What you're doing is actually, he's not paying you money, but all the labor that you're doing, you're giving him a piece of the action. And when you give him a piece of the action, you're making him the rich guy, not you. So all we let them do is make a subsistence living. They could never afford to buy a house on their own. We got to give them a payment plan. Of course, we do them a favor, and so we collect a little interest for that, about 3 houses for every one that we sell them. But you have to be in business for yourself. If you're not in business for yourself, then you never have a...
He literally just said that we charge enough interest on one house that they make the amount of money of 3 houses. So 3 houses is the amount of interest they charge you for the one house that you're trying to buy. That's just crazy. That's craziness. But this is what we're living through right now. This is what we have to be delivered from. That's why it says in great travail will be delivered. So in this great pain, physical pain, mental pain, I mean, you name it, they're doing it and have done or are planning to do it to us in the future. So you know that this stuff is actually happening. And it says right here, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. And smiling, burning. Okay, I want to get this because these guys control everything. Like I said, they've had the whole America in debt prison. He said they'll never be able to pay it back. The Rothschilds were funding both sides of the Civil War. So this goes way back, and this guy knows everything clearly. He knows what he's talking about. And so I'm going to read this as Deuteronomy 28:36. Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee, and unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. So this guy right here, he is the God over us right now. This is the God that we have to serve. No matter what, if we want something, you hear them. They have all the money. They own everything. And they're the rulers over the earth, like I said. I'm still looking for this one. I can't find it. There it is. This is what I was talking about. Deuteronomy 28:43 also. Because remember, they were the money changers. They weren't even in the government, but now they are in the government since the Civil War. They've been running this government pretty much. So Deuteronomy 28:43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. So where are we at? We're literally in the ground, if you want to put it that way. We're on earth, and these guys are in heaven. Heaven represents rulership. Earth represents servitude. We're the servants of our enemies. Let's get back into it.
To make any money, you're going to be a working stiff, a slave, a serf. You're a schlepper.
Well, Rabbi Finkelstein, you're very brazen tonight, and I'm really surprised at how truthful that you've been in it.
One more thing, because he was talking about the businesses and how you have to own your own business, and you're always going to be a slave unless you own your own business. So, but wait a second. How are we supposed to own a business when they put us out of business and make it impossible for us to open a business?
Answering a lot of my point-blank questions. Why is it hard for why do the Jews feel, or is this just a paranoid schizophrenic feeling that everyone in this country is looking at them, want to do things to them and stuff like that?
Well, they better not look at us too hard and accuse us, because that's anti-Semitism. And if
You hear that? You better not look at us too long or accuse us. That is anti-Semitism. How could that be anti-Semitism? Just from looking, and what they're saying is anything you do against these wicked, foul people, they will say that that's anti-Shemitic or Semitic, which doesn't mean anything. Shemitic, in other words, they're Shemites. So we're all from Shem. All of the, well, not all of us, but the Israelites are from Shem, and so are the Edomites, and so are the Asians. Those are all from Shem. So, going back into it, let's go to Daniel chapter 8 real quick and read it again. Verse 25, and through his policy he shall cause craft to prosper, and shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So, and these guys said, we're the comeback kids. 75,000 years ago, we had to fight. And okay, so wait, there's more. And by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. So he's going to try and fight. These guys are literally going to try and fight against Yahushai and the Shabbaot, which is Yahweh's army. And they think that they have a chance to win. That goes back into I will build you up for destruction. So let's go ahead and get back into it.
We catch you with anti-Semitism, we can throw a book at you. Remember, we control the court system. All the Jew judges, the Jew lawyers, the Jew prosecutors, and we wrote most of the law. Not us necessarily, but we pay our goyim in Washington, D.C., the Democrats and the Republicans. They sit around and we have them write up laws. We tell them what to do, they put it on the paper. We don't actually even do the work.
And that's lobbying. And George Soros, guess what? He's a bona fide Jew. So, what do? They make the laws. Why did I bring up Soros? Because he's also one of those rich people. And the Congress, what they do is lobby. Lobbying means that they take donations from people. And when they take these donations, the person says, hey, if you do this for me, I'll do that. I'll give you this much money. And they say, yeah, no problem. Next thing you know, we have all these laws that are stopping our rights, they're taking away our rights and our freedoms. All right, let's get back into it.
Well, you know, as we're on the Turner Radio Network here, this is one of the only live radio networks that actually two individuals that come from two opposite parts of this planet, you, Rabbi Finkelstein, and yours truly, James Wickstrom. You know, we are on two totally opposite sides of this planet, and both of us have two totally different wants and needs and desires against one another, and yet here we are, sitting here tonight live on the Turner Radio Network, discoursing about people, discoursing about things.
Wait, let's just do it like this. I have to say this. Isaiah 19:2. This is, I'm going to bring it out in, I'm going to bring it out in the New Living Translation. I love the New Living Translation lately. Some of the scriptures are just well written. So let's get it. This is Isaiah 19:2, and it reads, NLT, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother. Hold on, let me say it again. So this is how we know this is what the Bible's actually talking. This is a prophecy being fulfilled. Let me get it again. I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. These guys don't even know that they're brothers. They're Edomites. They're both Edomites. It's crazy to sit there and watch two Edomites go at it with each other, but here we have it. Let's get back into it.
Being honest and truthful, and in telling the truth to the masses, but you know, the masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, we have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal the children. And, I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. We steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country. And we drain their blood and we mix it with the Passover bread. And then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own. And we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets. And week?
You heard him. We got to go back to that. We got to listen to that again. He literally said that we eat we drink the blood of our enemies, and then we put it in the matzah balls, or we drink. Watch, let's listen to that again.
We are on two totally opposite sides of this planet, and both of us have two totally different wants and needs and desires against one another, and yet here we are, sitting here tonight live on the Turner Radio Network, discoursing about people, discoursing about things, being honest and truthful, and in telling the truth to the masses. But you know, the masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, in the meantime, we have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal the children.
We have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal the children. So all those missing children, now you know where they're going. Listen carefully.
And, I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country. And we drain the blood and we mix it with the Passover bread. And then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own. And we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets. And the people, they eat it for breakfast. They eat their children for lunch. And, as Jews, we got to...
No, you heard him. McDonald's, I've been telling you guys this for over 10 years. I've been telling you this. Ever since I heard this interview over 10 years ago, I've been telling everybody, don't go to McDonald's. These fast food restaurants, McDonald's is our favorite place. And what do? They grind up the meat and put it in the sausage and the burgers. And you eat your dead children for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner. And Leviticus 26 and 29. And you shall eat the flesh of your sons and the flesh of your daughters shall ye eat. This is a curse against us. Hold on. There's more. Let me find it. I can't remember where it's at. You shall eat the fruit of your own loins. What chapter and verse? There it let me see if I can find it. I know it's in Deuteronomy somewhere. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let's see if I can just find it. I might get lucky and just find it. Deuteronomy chapter 28. It's one of the curses against us, like I said. So let's see if I'm right. Hold on real quick. Let me find it real quick. Like I said, it's one of the curses. So that's against us in the book of Deuteronomy. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15 real quick. So we know that we're the Israelites. These guys are actually putting the curses on us. They're oppressing us with the curses perfectly, fulfilling prophecy. Because it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 15, and it reads, and it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, he even said that he was going to take the children, right? We steal the children. It's a fun time during the Passover. So let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 32. Thou shalt, 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy hands. In other words, they're going to take your kids away, like I said, steal your children, and there's going to be nothing you can do about it, and you're just going to be looking out the window wishing you could find your child. Let's jump further up. Verse 41. Thou shalt begot sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. So they steal your kids. And what are they doing with them? Well, we'd still... that was deep. I didn't want to say it again. But you heard what he said about the children. You heard what he said, where the remains goes to the McDonald's meat packing plant, which I have proven to you guys when you look it up that 99% of the McDonald's meat packing plants, they got busted after this interview because 99% of their meat packing plants had human flesh in it. And so they had to do something quick, I guess. So let me jump further up. Let me jump up a little further. Let's go to verse 53. Because he said that you're going to, for breakfast and for lunch and for dinner, you're going to eat your own dead children. So, verse 53. This is a curse against us, and now it's a prophecy being fulfilled. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and thy daughters, which Yahweh thy power hath given thee in the siege and in the straitness. Therewith thine enemies shall distress thee. So our enemies got us so distressed as Israelites. We're the only people on earth, like I said in the class yesterday, that get sickle cell. That's how bad we have it. And that is and sickle cell is a condition caused from really, really high amounts of stress, to the point of some people being so freaked out they actually die. But the people that survived were starting to develop a side effect from the stress, where it was changing the shape of our blood cells, which is called sickle cell anemia. So yeah, definitely our enemies shall distress us. So let's get back into it. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thy own body is what I was saying. So let's go back again and hear him say that all over again.
Rabbi Finkelstein and yours truly, James Wickstrom. You know, we are on two totally opposite sides of this planet, and both of us have two totally different wants and needs and desires against one another, and yet here we are, sitting here tonight live on the Turner Radio Network, discoursing about people, discoursing about things, being honest and truthful, and in telling the truth to the masses. But you know, the masses have a hard time believing anything.
Well, we've done a great brainwashing job on them over the centuries, and especially the last few hundred years. We've just brainwashed them completely. They believe anything we tell them. And, we have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal the children. And,
one more time. We have a lot of fun around Passover where we steal their children.
I know you know because I've heard it on your show before. I mean, we steal 100 to 300,000 children a year just here in this country, and we drain their blood and we mix it.
We steal 100 to 300,000 a year in this country alone, and we drain their blood. Those are his words, not mine. I'm just repeating what he said.
With the Passover bread, and then we throw the bodies into the slaughterhouses that we own, and we grind up all the bodies in the sausage and the hamburger. McDonald's is one of our favorite outlets, and the people, they eat it for breakfast, they eat their children for lunch, and as Jews, we gotta do what we do.
One more time, Deuteronomy 28:53, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body.
Most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Amy Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we?
Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world.
Well, I look at you.
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Yes, that you've done.
He said it again, right? We got to get it one more time. He said, we are going to take over the world. And we're doing a pretty damn good job. So when you go back to Job 9:24 again, because their book tells them we're going to take over the world. But our book tells us a little bit differently. It says that they're going to look like they're taking over the world, but at the last end, they're not. They're going to be taken out. We'll get to that right now too. But let's get Job 9:24 one more time. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. That's us. If not, where and who is he? So if this guy ain't the wicked that rules over the earth, that told you we rule over the earth, we're doing pretty good at it right now, I don't know who it is. Let's hear that again.
The most important thing to remember between you, Pastor Wickstrom, and me, Rabbi Avi Finkelstein of New York, that we both have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways.
And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we?
Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world.
Well, I look at you.
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Let's address that too. Let's address that also. So our book says that there's going to be a time where these guys are going to be stopped. Pretty much, that's the big collision. It's like when Yahushua comes back. But his book says that they're going to rule the earth. Well, they've actually fulfilled that prophecy by being the hands of the wicked in our book, and he's talking about the Talmud. So they don't read they don't read Torah or they don't read the Torah. They read the Talmud. And this the Torah and the Tanakh. The Tanakh is the rest of the Bible, I think. I'm pretty sure. But the Talmud is their own Zionist Bible that they wrote themselves. So let's go ahead, and because he thinks that they're going to rule the world forever, so that's the point I want to make. They are in the position where they want to be. And so that also goes into Genesis, I think, 24, 25. Let me get this first, though. This is Jeremiah chapter 5, and the point is in verse 22. Let's read it in the KJV. Fear ye not me, saith Yahweh. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which I have placed in the sand for a boundary of the sea by a perpetual decree? It cannot pass it. And though the waves therefore toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet they cannot pass over it. So this is the point. There is a certain time, that a limit that you guys have as these wicked Edomite rulers. And there's a certain point that you can't pass. So let's read it in the NLT real quick. Same in the NLT, this is Jeremiah 5 and 22. Have you no respect for me? Why don't you tremble in my presence? I, Yahweh, define the ocean sandy shore. I, as an everlasting boundary that the waters cannot cross. The waves may toss and roar, but they can never pass the boundaries I have set. So no matter what you guys say, no matter how much you fight, no matter how much you toss and you roar, you have a set boundary, and you're going to be taken out in the end. And that's what we're patiently waiting for. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. We're patiently waiting for you to be taken out. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. And that's in Revelation 14. And I need the whole chapter. I need the whole chapter. I don't have the whole chapter right in front of me. Full chapter. All right. Oh man, it's always something. Okay, there we go. So this goes into, I wanted to bring the full chapter out because it actually goes into the people that are marked as Goyim in the end times. But the reason why I wanted to bring it out is because the consequence that these guys are also going to face, not all, the 2/3 and the rest of the nations are going to face these consequences. And it goes into, like I said, it goes into the MOTB, but I'm going to read it anyway because I want to show you that we're patiently waiting for these people to be judged. So let's bring it out. And so we're going to start at verse, I guess we're going to start at verse 10. And the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. Do you see that? And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Well, these guys worship the beast and his image. In fact, they created the image for the other nations to have to worship. But here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. So where we're patiently and faithfully waiting for all these prophecies to be fulfilled and everything to go down so you guys can be judged. That's the patience and the faith of the saints. We're waiting for you to get that judgment.
We have two fathers, and so that's why we look at the world in two different ways. And we know that there's a massive collision that's going to take place between two forces, don't we? Well, that's what your book says. Our book says that we're going to take over the world. Well, I look at you doing a pretty good job right now. Yes, you've done a pretty good job, but you know there's quite an awakening coming. And my father, who's not your father, my father Yahweh, who isn't your father,
Yahweh.
of course, your father is talked about by my father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first murderer. And you know that's true because you teach it in your synagogue. Well, that's true, but it's not for you, Goyim, to know. But right now it's too late. It's over for you, white race. So that...
It's funny that he's saying he agrees that his father is Lucifer. So let's get that in John real quick because that's the first time I've heard him bring out a verse in this whole hour-long interview. So let's go to John 8:44. Let's just get it. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth. Damn. Because there is no truth in him, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. So if this guy's never lied before in the history of the Jews, the scriptures are telling you you're a liar. So and you agree. Let's hear him agree one more time. I'm sorry guys, I know this is going to be a long video, but I have to bring the rest of this out today.
Father in John 8:44, stating that your father was Satan and that you're the descendant of Cain, who was the first murderer. And you know that's true because you teach it in your synagogue.
Well, that's true, but it's not for you, Goyim, to know. But right now it's...
He said, well, that is true, but it's not for you goyim, you cattle, you slaves. It's not for you slaves to know that Satan is his father. And that these are both of these guys, both of you are a descendant of Cain. That's what he doesn't understand. He is also the descendant of Cain. But he doesn't realize he's a Caucasus Asian. So where is the Caucasus Mountains? It's in the continent of Asia, which is, where's Russia? Asia, was it Asia Minor? Asia Minor or something like that, or Major? I forget. But the Caucasus Mountains, where Petra is, or Georgia, Russia, right? Caucasians. So these are the Caucasians, cave dwellers. But anyway, let's get back into it.
Too late. It's over for you, white race. So that's why I'm speaking so honestly here, to bring it out into the open so that you can
They're the chosen people. They were chosen to be the wicked of the earth. And so this guy said that they fulfilled their plans pretty much, and that's why they're able to say everything, which brings me back to that the other verse I wanted to bring out really quick. I'll find it right now. Hold on real quick. I gotta pull it up real quick. All right, let's get it. I found it. It's Genesis 27 and 38. And I want to, because see, the reason why I'm bringing this out, because these guys think, like, yeah, I can tell you everything now because we've completed our plan. We think that we're in that position where we want to be in our rulership. We're getting there. We're almost there. We're the comeback kid. He said all those things. So let's get it in Genesis chapter 27. And we're going to start at verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. He started crying. Esau started crying because he knows that he lost everything. And that's why these guys are the comeback kid right now, because they've been trying to take back what's ours for the entire existence, our existence and their existence, since we got here. So, verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. That's everything. You guys own everything. You're the hands of the wicked. And the dew of the heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. We fund both sides of the wars. Every war. Since the Civil War we were funding. And probably before that. Way before that. But they definitely were funding both sides of the Civil War. So they've been running this country since the Civil War. So let's keep going. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. It shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, when you've completed your mission, when you think that you've got complete rulership over the earth, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break the yoke from off his neck. So when you think that you're in your rulership, that's when our captivity is going to be over and you are going to become our slave. Let's go back into it.
And we go to the synagogue all the time and have some Manischewitz and dance the Hava Nagila. You know, it's interesting. I've told people for years and years, it's not that you Jews are hiding anything. You're coming right out on television, in the newspapers, on the radio, and you're telling the people exactly what you're going to do before you do it, and they're brain dead.
Okay, so Kabbalah is Jewish witchcraft, and whether they agree with it or not, it doesn't matter. But in Jewish witchcraft, you have to tell them what you're going to do before you do it. And they have to accept it. They don't have to agree with it, but they have to accept the fact that you're going to do that. Why do you think they put 9/11 being literally having being destroyed for all, I think since like the 80s? I remember an episode of Spider-Man. I mean, everything had it in there. So, and they even have a coin in Israel of it being blown up. Did you guys know that? There's a coin with the Twin Towers being blown up. So anyway, let's go back into it.
Well, we did a good job with the public school system. We got you to put all of your children in there. You notice that the Jew doesn't put his children in there. They go to the Hebrew Academy where we teach them the real things, and then they go to the synagogue and they learn the real important things. But we send your kids to the public school. We even have you tax yourself from your property so that you never own your property.
Are you guys listening to this? Our school are prison pipelines. Their schools are for teaching. We make you tax yourself on your own property so you can never own property.
And so if you don't make your property tax, we're going to take your property. You can bet on that. And we have you put your kid in a 12-year babysitting is about all it does, because you don't learn anything. And then by that time, the kids, they get to be teenagers, and then we give them the music. Not that we really want to call it music, because, oy vey, that's not music. But they listen to that, and then they want to do what they want to do, and so we sell them drugs, and we make a lot of money off your children. Your children from cradle to grave. All we do is make money off of them. Your cattle.
Do you hear that? From cradle to grave, all we do is make money off of you. Your cattle, your goyim.
The goyim, the human cattle. Mazel tov.
You know, it's interesting. Yes, I know what you call us, but you know, you may call me Goyim, but I can call you devil, but you know I'm going to be calling you a good name because that's what you are.
Well, that's true.
Now,
The word devil means slanderer, liar, false accuser. He just admitted to being a slanderer, a liar, and a false accuser. I thought he never lied before. So he lied in saying that he didn't lie.
you see, Rabbi Finkelstein, in your synagogue up there in New York, do you have a lot of infighting with the other Jews, the Orthodox Jews, and the other Jews? I mean, is there a lot of infighting for the money out there in New York? I've heard that there's a big inner war going on now with Jewry.
Well, we fight a little bit and we argue a little bit. Of course, that's the two most important things we do is complain and get the guilt. And so what we do, we're not really fighting among ourselves because we're both going to make a lot of money. It's just who's going to make a little more on this deal and who's going to make a little more on that deal. The bottom line, though, is we have the Goyim. The Goyim does all the work. The Goyim makes all the stuff. He sells it to us for
Slaves. The slaves do all the work. That's us. They don't do anything. And he's telling you, we don't do nothing from cradle to grave. We just take money from you guys.
pennies. We're the wholesalers. We're the middlemen. We market way up and sell it to the other Goyim on the retail side. There's an old saying in Yiddish that the reason that God made Gentiles is
Yiddish. It is Hebrew character with a German dialect. So it's like a mix between German and Hebrew. That's what Yiddish is.
because somebody has to pay retail. It's not going to be the Jew for sure. The Jew doesn't pay retail. It's the Goyim that pays retail. We buy wholesale.
Well, that's very interesting. I understand that, but I also know the bloodletting. I know that on your Passover, which isn't mine, that a lot of little children do disappear, and I do know that, and I know a lot of police departments and agencies have been informed, but you're very open. You're very open tonight. I'm very surprised that you're talking about the bloodletting of the little children, that you put their blood in the matzah balls, and that you eat it on sacrifice on Passover.
Well, there was a Goyim that wrote a book about it back in the 30s. I forget his name at the moment. But anyway, he wrote the book. People didn't buy the book. People don't want to listen. We've been doing this for thousands and thousands of years, since down to Adam's time. We take the children of our...
Did you hear that? We've been eating the blood of our enemies since Adam's time, which is... That's quite crazy if you think about it. He's really being proud right now. But what does the scripture say? Doesn't it say pride cometh before destruction and a haughty heart before a fall? And that's Proverbs 16 and 18. And I'm pretty sure I said it correctly. Pride goeth before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. So this guy's got a haughty spirit. He's very prideful. He thinks that they think they won. They think that if they're the ocean, they think they've crossed over the sand and we're able to defeat the sand. And that's not true. You guys have a line. There's a specific set time for you guys to be in this wicked rulership. And when it's over, you won't be able to pass beyond that point. Now, we've already gone through this. This guy literally thinks that he rules the earth.
Enemy, which is the white race, and we bring them to the basements in the synagogues where we drain the blood and watch them die there. It's very similar to how we do the sacrifices that we do with the kosher butchering, and so we do that, and then we mix it with the Passover bread, and so we eat the blood of our enemies. And the bodies, we're not cannibals, so what we do is we take those, because we can make some shekels, and we give them to the slaughterhouses, and those are pounds and pounds and pounds of meat that we grind up in the sausage and the hamburger, and that's why we made those the most popular thing, sausage for breakfast and hamburger for lunch.
Hold on. Sorry about that. I had a precept and man, it just went away as quick as I. Hopefully it comes back to me. Hopefully it comes back to me. So this guy is very, very open about what he's saying right now.
And so all the goyim out here are really eating their children. And even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's your problem.
You know, I've got a question, and I yes, it is a problem. But you see, I've always wondered, how did you Jews ever get control of the i.e. Christian churches in this country? It's always baffled me to a varying degree.
They own the churches. They started the Christian church.
You know, you have your synagogue out there in New York on the East Coast. But I'm wondering, how did you ever totally get control of these Christian churches who at one time told their congregations to stay away from you Jews? How did that happen?
Well, you know, our father Lucifer, the number one thing of all the organizations out there on the earth that we would want to infiltrate and take over of you goyim, obviously would be the churches. So we attacked them first, and we attacked them most. And we infiltrated the Catholic Church right from the very beginning. Why do you think the Pope and all the cardinals and the bishops wear a yarmulke? The white race never figures this out. And so then we took all your books that had all your scriptures in there, and we burned them. And then we wrote them in Latin so that you couldn't understand them. But we understood Latin because we're Jews and we're smart and we're educated. But you, goyim out there, you never teach yourself. You don't self-teach. You're always looking for somebody else to do it for you. So
I just got to bring this out real quick because he said, "Our father Lucifer." Our father is Lucifer. Again, he said that. That's the third time he said it in this video. So let's get it. Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not. Your God is the devil. It's the Satan, and you're even admitting it. But you're not a Jew if your God is Satan. You have to have Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. That's who the God of the real Jews are. So let's get it again. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. That's the point. That's the point. Once again, you're a liar. And the Most High keeps telling us, you're a liar, bro. And the rest of the verse reads, behold, I will make them come down and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. So they already know that God hates them. They have to, because they're calling Satan their God. And they know that our God is Yahweh. So let's get back into it. We've got about 10 minutes left in this, and then this video will be over.
Well, you wind up being schleppers all your life. And so, anyway, 1,000 years later, when a bunch of the white race started to wake up in Europe, and they started to leave the Catholic Church, it was a terrible time because we weren't making as many shekels as we used to. So we had to put a stop to it. So the kings that we had in our hip pocket, just like the politicians of Washington, D.C. today, we paid them off to get you declared heretics so that they would crucify you and kill you. But there was too many of you, and the West was opening up, where the Jews opened up Ignatius Loyola that he started the Jesuits, and so they decided to infiltrate all the Protestant churches out there, and as always, us Jews work our way to the top, and then we take over the money line, the shekel line, the most important line, the lifeline, the gold, and so we took that over. And so slowly but surely we teach the teachings, change them a little bit to where it's all run by the Catholic Church again, the Mother Church. It's your mother, but the Father Church is the synagogues in Israel and in the...
Did you hear that, you stupid Christians? You have a female deity as your God, the Mother Church, but the Father is in the synagogue. The only problem about that is their father is Satan, and our father is Yahweh. So when we are able to go back into our temple and worship, the father that will be in that temple is Yahweh. But their father is Satan. So their father church is ran by Satan, and the Mother Church is the Holy Mother of Heaven. And who is that, guys? Satan's wife. Christianity belongs to Satan and his wife. Isn't that neat?
Synagogues in New York. You know, this is most interesting. There was a report just recently, a couple months ago here, Rabbi Finkelstein, of Ethiopic Jews in Israelite. These are black Jews. And the Jews in Israelite didn't want them there. And the Ethiopian, the black Jew, said, oh no, we're Jews. We belong here too. Oh, how does this all fit in? Well,
watch this. He's going to say that they literally, those Ethiopians calling themselves Jews, which I told you guys, they could have been, but they do too much Zionist behavior. And watch, he's going to tell you it's because the Zionist Jews went down there and taught them to be this way. It's not because these guys were the lost part of the lost tribes. It's because they were taught by these guys to act like Zionists. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Were these black Jews and the Jews over in Israelite didn't want them? Were they kind of like a disgrace or what?
Well, who wants a bunch of Schwarzes in your land? You don't want the Schwarzes in there. There are some rabbis that
We don't want niggas in our synagogue, is what he just said.
went down to Ethiopia and they said, oh, we'd like to be Jews too. We laughed, but we said, okay, pay us a few dollars and we'll teach you how to be a Jew. So there was a few rabbis that made some money there in Ethiopia, but every Jew knows that a Schwarzer can never be a Jew, and we don't want them dirtying up the neighborhood.
Did you hear that, guys? You know a nigga could never be a Jew, and we don't want him dirtying up our neighborhood. So we're less than goyim to this guy. And I know exactly which Ethiopians he's talking about, too. They literally walk around acting with the yarmulkes on and everything. They act like these guys. But that's why I was like, man, I was always like, those dudes seem kind of weird, though, to be the real Jews. Even before I was in the truth, I thought, oh, the Ethiopians, I just don't understand it. Because they're not. They were taught by these guys. After paying them, they taught them. So it's like you got they had to pay them to learn from them, just like if you were to go to a college or a university or a seminary school.
Over in Israel, we give them neighborhoods here in America. We give them white women to mate with, to destroy both races. And what can I say?
You can't destroy a race. You can destroy the identity, the physical way a person looks, but you can't destroy the race. It's impossible. Only Yahweh could do that.
Well, in other words, it's like Elizabeth Taylor now. She was a white woman, and yet she said she took on the ways of Jewry. How does this fit in?
Well, she married a nice little Jewish boy named Eddie Fisher, and they had a daughter named Carrie Fisher, and so she donates a lot of money to the synagogue. She's a good goyim shiksa, and she thinks she's Jewish. She can think what she wants. Hopefully that she'll give a lot of money to our synagogue when she dies, which should be soon because she doesn't look like she's in too good a health.
Rabbi Finkelstein, we're coming down on time here, but I wanted to get into this because, you know, you and I are at war. The war actually is between the white race, the children of Seth, against the children of Cain, of which you are. And we know that it's been written in the Aramaic and in all the ancient texts, you know this as well as I, that only one race is going to survive on the face of this earth, and you know it's the white race.
Ha ha ha. Did you hear that? Both of these guys are racist. Let's read it again. Let's go back to Isaiah 19:2 one more time. I gotta get that one more time. Let's get it in the English Standard Version. And I will stir up Egypt. No. I don't like that. Stirring up. No. I like the NLT. I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian. They said we're at war, bro. He just said we're at war. Brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Or in the King James Version, kingdom against kingdom. Beautiful. It's beautiful how this is working out. This guy is spilling all the beans. Let's get back into it. You know what? I want to get it one more time. Mark 13:12. Brother will betray brother to death, and father his child. Children will rise against their parents and have them put to death. But it's the first part is where the point is. Brother will betray brother to death. You guys are fucking brothers. You're both Edomites. And neither one of you guys realize it.
Well, that's what your book says. Our book, the Talmud, says we're going to rule, and we're going to have a world of our own, and we're going to go out into space, and we're going to have a war with your father, and we're going to win this time.
We're going to win this time. So you're telling me the creator of your God, who has deceived you from the beginning of time until now. Let's get that. Let's get it. We got to get that too. Let's go to the book of Job. Because I'm going to show you that what I'm showing you guys right now is his God is a servant to Yahweh. So Job chapter 1, and I think we're at verse 6. We'll start at verse 6. Job 1:6. Now there was a day when the Son of Yahweh came to present themselves before the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. Wait a second, now there's going to be a dialect. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Where'd you come from? And then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. So he says he's making a report. I'm doing exactly what you told me to do, sir. I'm doing exactly what you told me to do. So when Satan gives you all these things, and another thing, if you bow down before Satan, he'll give you the world. So this guy said Satan's our God, and I forget where that's at too right now. Let's just paraphrase it. If thou bow down before me, I will give you all that you see on the earth. What chapter and verse is that? And Matthew, I knew it. It's Matthew 4:9, but we're going to start at verse 7. So Yahushua said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord Yahweh. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. He already told you, Lucifer, Satan, the devil, is our God. So for the God of the Jewish people, he has just made that proclamation that Lucifer, Satan, and the devil are all the same person, and that is their God. Okay? So let's go ahead and let him finish with his last 6 minutes.
Well, that's going to be most interesting, but until then, the masses continue to awaken in many aspects in this country and in white Europe. All
White
of
Europe,
Rothschild's
racist.
banks control the white nations and have perverted the nations. But it amazes me how you penetrated into the into the federal agencies like the FBI and the National Security Agency, and how you have all these blockers and protectors in that.
It's very easy to take over a government when you're a bank, because the government has to borrow money from the bank, and once they borrow money, as it says even in your books, as it says in ours, he who borrows is slave to the lender. And so this government here in America is slave to the Federal Reserve System, which is Rothschild's bank, plus a few of us other Jews who make a few shekels off of it.
Rothschild Bank is now called BlackRock.
And the politicians that we put in charge, they all take bribes. They're all a bunch of perverts. They like to drink, and they like to take the drugs, and they like to do the Fagler thing with the Faglers. So that's what they do, and it's very easy to control the government. The hardest thing was penetrating the churches, because there used to be a few good preachers in there, but over time, as us Jews, we're so smart. We're the chosen people. We always infiltrate and take over everything, and everything that there is out there today, we own and we control.
I'd like to ask you this question before we get off the air. We've got about 2 minutes. A point-blank question. Is communism Jewish?
Of course. Karl Marx, Moses Mordecai Levy, who had a couple of grandfathers that were Jewish. He's the one who created it, along with Engels. He was another nice Jewish boy. And we implemented it and got that started in Russia. It was a great bill of goods to sell the masses. We tell them, hey, you're here at the bottom. How would you like to be equal? Everybody be equal. They thought they were going to come up, but we brought the rich ones down to their level, and we took all the money, and we run it, and they're all a bunch of schleppers. And we make the shekels, and we're the masters of the world, and all the goyim are just human cattle.
Well, Rabbi Finkelstein, I know that all of you Jews are going to die is written by Yahweh. I'm glad you got on here and told the truth to the listening audience. You've been listening to Johnny.
No, the Edomites are going to die. It doesn't say anywhere in the Bible says. In fact, let's get that before we close out. We're going to close out right there, though. We're going to go into the book of Isaiah, and we're going to go to chapter 14, because he said Yahweh is going to kill off all of you Jews. Let's see if that is true or not. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Not what you call the white race. You Caucasians, you Edomites, you're both Edomites. You're both going to get dealt with. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that, because Jacob represents Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. Israel represents the rest of the 12 tribes. Okay, so when it says Judah, or when it says Jacob and Israel, so and also you guys said that there's going to be another fight, but you're going to win this time. Let's jump down to verse 21 real quick. Prepare slaughter for the children for the iniquity of their fathers. Okay? That they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. So all your stuff is being destroyed now, because he said that when you have the dominion in Genesis 27, and I think it was 39, and I think 39 or 40, it says when you have that dominion, that's when the yoke is going to be broken off our neck. In other words, that's when we're going to take over. That's going to be the end of your time, right when you think that you've accomplished your master plan. And with that being said, we'll let them go for the last 15 seconds. I think they're just going to close out and say goodbye, but why not finish it?
844, Pastor Bob's program. I'm setting in for him. I'm James Wickstrom, a teacher of Yahweh. Our program tonight, The Lying Jew. Stay tuned for the Turner Radio Network and more truth that's coming out. Pastor Bob will be back with you next Wednesday.
Okay, so, and that's it, guys. We finished it. We've gone through this whole interview. I can only pray that it was edifying, exhorting, and if you got eyes to see and ears to hear, Most High willing, you were able to really get something out of this message. Hopefully you could see who the real synagogue of Satan is. All right, shalom.